Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share and subscribe to the channel. Jon Jones just destroyed Stipe Miocic at UFC 309 to defend his heavyweight title. For 2 nights in a row, the whole world tuned into elderly abuse. First, it was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, and then Jones versus Miocic. The same sentiment is worth sharing for both those fights. It should never have happened. Fighting is a young man's game, and to see a 42-year-old Stipe Miocic, who has been out of the ring for 4 years, was once again sad to see. He was slow, his reflexes were not as they used to be. His legs were not there underneath him. Again, it's normal for a fighter who is in his 40s. Looking at the fight itself, one couldn't but help get the feeling that it was all carefully crafted to make a certain fighter look good. That fighter being Jon Jones. Stipe was handpicked by Jones to make himself look good. He didn't have the tools to cause Jon any problems. He didn't have kicks, no threat of the takedown, no fast hands, nothing that could surprise Jones. And Jones could very much have his way with him. Stipe's chin was good, which allowed him to stay in the fight for as long as he stayed, but his boxing was slow, and Jon could see it from a mile away. In the first round, Jon was throwing a variety of things at Stipe's way. Inside leg kicks, knees down the middle, high kicks, kicks to the stomach targeting Stipe's body, and Stipe had very little output. With only boxing, you can never beat Jones. Jones took Stipe down with ease in the first round and landed some heavy ground and pound. Jon Jones has some of the nastiest elbows from top position, and Stipe could not do anything about it. It was a miracle that he got past the first round. After that heavy ground and pound and wrestling exchange, Stipe was significantly compromised and slowed down further in the second round. He was stationary and Jon could now hit him with his jab and cross. Stipe did land a good 1-2 and an uppercut, but he was significantly hurt after the first round. Jon kept digging to the body. Stipe still has a great chin for his age. He did hit a number of left hands from Jones, but that spinning back kick to the ribs was too much even for him. That knocked the wind out of him, and Stipe fell down crumbling. Jones landed some heavy ground and pound to finish the job and broke into the Trump dance before the president himself. While it was good to see Jon Jones showcasing his full array of skills, it should be worth mentioning that Stipe should not have been fighting in the first place. They just sacrificed him at the altar. Glad that Stipe retired at the end of the fight. He will always be remembered as one of the greatest heavyweights ever. Jon Jones, on the other hand, had no intention of retiring. On being asked about what he wanted to do next, whether it be fighting Alex Pereira or Tom Aspinall, he still didn't give a direct answer. He alluded to giving the people what they want. Alex Pereira should never fight with Jon Jones, a sentiment that was echoed by Dana White at the post-fight press conference as well. Stipe was a Division 1 wrestler, and Jon took him down with ease. Alex would get absolutely mauled by Jones. Tom Aspinall, on the other hand, is a whole different beast. The size and the speed of Tom would give Jones all sort of problems. It doesn't mean he can't beat him, but that fight would be very close given the age gap between the two fighters. And Tom would not be waiting to close the distance on Jones as Stipe was doing. And that's the only fight that makes sense in the heavyweight division right now. In the co-main event, Charles Oliviera put on a dominant display for 5 rounds over Michael Chandler. It was technically brilliant from Charles as he picked him apart on the feet and then dominated him on the ground. The only moment Chandler had was in the fifth when he hurt Oliveira standing. Charles was tired with the grappling exchanges, and with no hope inside, Chandler threw in the kitchen sink and it connected. On the ground, he landed some heavy blows, and most of it was on the back of the hair of Oliveira. The referee stood there and watched as Chandler gleefully landed continuous hammer fists on the back of the head of Oliveira. The 12-6 elbows were now legal, but the punching on the back of the head isn't. The fight was just moments away from getting stopped, just like in the first fight. But once again, Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu helped him to survive on the ground and recover. When they stood back up, again Chandler was exhausted as he had just emptied the gas tank. Charles took him down with ease and got his back and tried to submit him like he did in the entire fight. Chandler once again got back to his feet and jumped back on his back. He did it twice but was still unable to get out of Oliveira's body lock. Charles was savage as he had his tongue out and smiled like, "Not today, son." At that moment, Michael Chandler resigned to his fate and almost tapped, acknowledging that he had been thoroughly beat. Charles Oliveira looked great. His stand-up was sharp and his grappling as usual was perfect. Technically, it was clear as day that he was miles ahead of Michael Chandler in terms of skills. Chandler is a great wrestler, but the number of times that Oliveira took him down with ease was impressive. Charles Oliveira looked great and is probably in line for a title shot next. As for Michael Chandler, there should be some serious conversations as to how good he really is. He loses against every credible opponent that he faces. He is in exciting fights, he always is, but never gets his hands raised. Most of the time, he fights without any game plan. At one point of time in the fight, Chandler's coach asked him to throw combinations, just not just 1-2s. He literally asked his corner which punches to throw. Michael Chandler is his own hype man, and it wasn't a surprise that even after losing handsomely, he just called out Max Holloway for the BMF belt and Conor McGregor. Conor hasn't won a fight in a while. Maybe Dana White can create a title for them wherein they can have a belt wrapped round their waist finally at the end when they do eventually fight. And a word on Bo Nickal, who wanted to fight Hamzat Chimaev at some point of time. After how bad he looked tonight against a jiu-jitsu guy like Paul Craig, it would be best for him to reassess before making such outlandish claims. He would get absolutely mauled and destroyed by Chimaev. It wouldn't be even close. He couldn't take Craig down, didn't attempt many takedowns as well as just wary of Craig's jiu-jitsu. And Paul Craig checked a lot of leg kicks, which hurt Nickal. The crowd were booing so loudly at one point of time because neither fighter was too keen to engage. Bo Nickal has to work a lot on his game before fighting the upper echelon of fighters in his division, and is miles away from getting a title shot. UFC 309 was a success. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.